you can essentially get some free flights, at least discounted flights or discounted hotel stays. I essentially have stayed in hotels or accommodation for 3 nights without cost, thanks to. So if you're looking to save money on food at the airport, this is one of the best ways to do it.
Welcome to Millennials with Money. My name is Johnny. Thank you for joining me for this video. Let's get this money.
Hey guys, I hope you're having a good summer. I hope you've had good holidays. Those of you that have been on holiday and those of you that are going on holiday, I hope you guys have a great time as well, as I know there are a lot of travelers and people who are keen to book their next adventure, look for that next trip, that come to watch this channel. Travel is definitely something that the majority of us want to do more of, myself included, but particularly in today's inflationary climate, it can seem quite expensive and challenging to find deals that work out right for us and fit within our budget. I myself, having just come back from holiday, I was able to take advantage of some money saving hacks during and before my trip whilst planning it that helped me save quite a bit of money and get some really nice deals through the course of my holiday. And that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. I've got 5 different hacks or tips or tricks, if you want to call them that you can make use of that can help you save money whilst on holiday. So let's get into the video. Now, hack number 1 kind of requires something to go wrong before you can make use of it, which is airline vouchers. So if your flight is delayed or cancelled for whatever reason, then in most cases you will be entitled to compensation. In the EU, this is mandated by EU directives, which depending on the length of time of the delay and how far your journey was, you'll be entitled a certain amount of compensation, normally in the 400 to 600 euro ballpark, if I'm not mistaken. In the US, I get the impression as well that it's common for people to get bumped from flights. That's to say that a flight has been overbooked and the airlines will look for people to forfeit their seat on the plane and then take a later flight. And in this case as well, you'll be entitled to compensation. Again, depending on the circumstances, this could be up to $1,500 of compensation that you can get. And so even though the most obvious way to get this compensation is in the form of money, which would be to get your cash back, what a lot of airlines do is they try and entice you to keep it as a credit with them. But in doing so, what they'll do is they'll typically give you greater amount of money back. I had a situation like this in 2020 where I think the flight actually still went, but because of the lockdown and the health situation at the time, it was impossible to travel. So the airlines were refunding passengers, and the airline in question actually offered me 120% of my money back in the form of credit for a future flight. And actually I used that credit this time around on my various travels that I went on, and I got a free flight essentially as a result by using some of that credit. So if you do think that you'll travel again in the near future and the airline that's offering you the refund is one that you would consider flying again, that's to say you haven't had a terrible experience with them that's permanently put you off flying with them, then it might be worth looking at their compensation policy for keeping that money in the form of a credit with them to be used on a later flight. Hack number 2 amongst regular travelers will probably be a very well-known one, which is using airline miles and club points and loyalty schemes. So a lot of airlines have these loyalty programs where every time you book a flight with them, you'll earn some reward points or you'll earn some miles, and then as they build up, you can spend those miles later down the line again on another flight. And a lot of airlines also have their own credit card programs, so you use that airline's credit card to make purchases, and every time you make a purchase, you probably get some points building up on your card, and again that will add to your balance, and then eventually in the future you can use those points to pay for a flight or for a hotel, for example. And then outside of the airlines, you've also got credit card companies like American Express that have their Amex points, which you can again use through their booking service to book flights and hotels with your Amex points. So this can be something to think about if you're a regular traveler, if you fly with a particular airline on a regular basis, or if you just want to build up the points and take advantage of the benefits that come with them, with the caveat of course that you spend responsibly and spend wisely, because in a lot of cases these are credit cards, they can affect your credit score, and you should what I suggest is always to pay off the balance in full at the end of the month. So by spending responsibly and building up those points, then you can essentially get some free flights, at least discounted flights or discounted hotel stays through those points, which is it's a really good money saver and it's a nice benefit as well. I personally do this and have done this in the past. Last year when I went to Girona, I used my Amex points to pay for a 2-night stay in an Airbnb, and this year during my travels I used them to pay for an overnight stay in a hotel. So I essentially have stayed in hotels or accommodation for 3 nights without cost thanks to Amex points. Hack number 3 is probably actually my favorite one that I discovered this year, and that's airport lounges. lounges. So in the case of some airlines, if you're part of that loyalty scheme and you've maybe worked your way up the ranks to the top tiers of the loyalty program, then you may get access to these airlines airport lounges. Alternatively, some credit card providers will have partnerships with some airport lounge access programs. So if you take the example of American Express, again, American Express has a partnership with Priority Pass, and if you're an Amex Gold holder, then that will give you 2 free entries per year into airport lounges. Or if you're a platinum holder, then you essentially get unlimited free access into airport lounges every time you go to the airport. And when it comes to airport lounges, the main reason why I love them is free unlimited food. Yeah, that's right. So what you'll find at airport lounges is you'll have more space to sit down and relax on your own, but you've also got a buffet, and it will depend on the airport and the lounge, but generally you've got a nice spread of hot and cold food depending on the time of day. They might have a breakfast, lunch, dinner menu in terms of the food that's laid out. You have a selection of drinks, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, and yeah, essentially you're free to go up to the buffet, get whatever food you want, and enjoy that food for free as a result of you having access to the lounge. So this is particularly advantageous, particularly when you think about the cost of food in the airport, whether it's from a restaurant or whether it's from one of these little stores that sell snacks and drinks and everything. In the airports, the prices are marked up really high. So if you're looking to save money on food at the airport, this is one of the best ways to do it. I personally have used airport lounges twice this year, and both times I did not regret it. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed just the experience of being in the lounge for free as a result of my Priority Pass. Hack number 4, multi-currency cards. It's often the case when we travel abroad, unless you live within the Eurozone and you're traveling between countries in the Eurozone, that you need to change money when you go abroad. When it comes to changing money, people's first thoughts are probably to go to a bureau de change, the traditional booths where you'll take your money, they'll give you the exchange rate and you'll change your money. But there is a drawback with using these physical bureau de change, that their exchange rates aren't that good when compared to the spot rate. So the spot rate is the live market rate at that moment in time. Let's say, for example, we have £1 and we say that the spot rate at this moment in time is £1 equals €1.20. What you'll often find is that these bureau de changes, they will mark that rate down, so they might only offer you €1.17 or €1.15 for every pound. So they make money on offering you a different exchange rate. And if you do this in the airport, then the exchange rates will be even worse as well. You might also get the case where they charge you a commission for changing that money as well. So again, it adds on to the cost of you changing money. So what I do instead is I use 2 different multi-currency cards. Now the 2 I use are Wise, formerly known as TransferWise, and Vivid. So those are my 2 preferred options, but there's also the likes of Revolut, which is very popular. You've also got Monese and Travelex, I think, as well. So there are other options out there as well. So the reason why I like these cards so much is that they have very, very competitive exchange rates, come in very close to the spot rate, and in many cases little to no commissions for changing money. So that means that the cost of you changing money is minimal. You don't lose out when you convert your money to a foreign currency because they're giving you such good rates and minimal commissions. In addition, in the case of Vivid, you can get cash back for your spending, and that percentage goes up when you're outside of the Eurozone, so you get something back for using that card as well. Honestly, whenever I go outside the Eurozone, these are my go-to cards. I'm very satisfied with them. I've done a video where I've talked a bit about how they work, and if you want to go and watch that, I'll leave the link in the video description. And if after watching the video you want to sign up as well, I'll leave my sign up links in the video description for you as well. And the 5th and final hack that I'm going to talk about is, I lied about number 3. I think number 5 is probably my favorite. Free food is good, but if you have local friends or local contacts when you're traveling, this is second to none. This is one of the best travel hacks you can have. I'm very fortunate and grateful that from my experience studying and working abroad that I've met a lot of people from a lot of different places, and it means that if I travel to somewhere, there's a good chance that I know someone either in the country or in the city that I'm going to if I'm lucky. And by having a local friend, they can give you recommendations of the good things to do. They might tell you not to pay money for that expensive tour. They might be able to give you a really good one themselves. They might take you to a spot where locals eat, which is a lot cheaper than the places in the touristy areas. They might be very, very generous and let you stay at their place for free. So you might even bag a free accommodation. And in terms of the overall travel experience, though I tend to be a solo traveler, so I often go to places by myself, having someone there and being able to meet someone, it makes the experience all the better. You know, it's just, it gives you a more pleasant, more fun, more dynamic experience of a place. And so yeah, shout out to all my friends around the world, whether you've hosted me, whether you've shown me around your city. I'm truly, truly grateful for it. And it's one of the best parts of traveling, I find. By the way, guys, I will be sharing videos of my trips. I haven't said too much about where I went or what I did so far because I wanted it to be a surprise when those videos come out. So do make sure you keep an eye out for them. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it useful, found it helpful. Have you used any of these travel hacks during your travels? Leave a comment and let me know. Now, why not check out my other videos? And if you want to see more content like this, then make sure you hit the subscribe button with a notification bell so that you don't miss a single update. I'll see you on the next one, and let's get this money. The money got his back!